Hey team, how we going? It's Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz. I would have been on a little bit sooner, but Mama's spaghetti, the curry, the satay decided to get out of the village. And on the way back up, I thought I'd do a little bit of work on my Ellen DeGeneres here. Good to have you here this Wednesday on the clutch of Thursday, which is payday for so many. Congratulations, the government gives back. And I look forward to catching up with you. I couldn't get on yesterday. I was a little bit knackered from making some of the previous videos that come out the last couple of days and going and visiting Vicky to show through action. It's not just words that we are a family in the trenches with Kaz. And we'll get to that in a minute. But enough of that. I'll speak to you guys first. Let's have a look. Brad Burton, related to Richard Burton. Survival Man 343 was the first off the bat. Well done, mate. PK, I'm here, mate. My favourite Chewy. He's late, but not pregnant. We've got Harvey, the wall banger. Hi, Kaz. Just got back from the Army Cadets. Love ya. I can dig with you liking me, loving me. I don't know if I'm worthy of that. Let's jump forward for a second. We've got a bit of a overflowing stage 3 pit with water. Not too Cal. What a way to start off. You didn't have to go this high, mate. You know, you're getting paid by the Crown, and that $20, shillings, shekels, pounds, the denomination, what did you to earn that? What did you do to earn that before you gave it to the channel? Because at the end of the day, I give you this for free. You don't need to make donations at all, team. You know, stage 3, if you feel guilty that you got paid because you've done something wrong, fine. But you might have got that from being in an ambush, getting bitten by mosquitoes, getting nagged, or any other sort of vice that life has against you. So clutch those dollars, spend them on something that's important to you. And if you've got any extra, throw in a buck or two, but it never needs to go orange or yellow. But thank you very much. And Nutsu Cow, I'll give you a prolonged one for that one. Boom. Nutsu Cow to the Duty First member. And we are a family. We look down here, we've got Fletch here. Who busts out the 2 as well, Bam, not too cow. I thought you'd be angry at me. It's not very often you have 2 guys that are older than you go around to your missus' house while you're away for 4 months to go and pay her a visit. And I even got mucho hugs. It was fantastic, but after asking for consent. I don't know if you're out there, Vicky. If you are, it was great to come and see you with the hitman Aaron Dixon to show Fletch, the champion soldier, the Cameron Baird Award recipient from Kapuka, who's now stranded in the land of the infantry soldier, and seeing that he is, in fact, basically family. 343. Was a hell of a drive. You wouldn't think it'd take an hour and 20 minutes to get across Sydney. Let's go back to the start again here, team. Not trying to be rude to anyone. Harvey, lots of laughing. Here we go. We've got lovely Lauren here, who's been in the hermit shell, so to speak, for the last few days, but I would be too if I was in Tasmania. What a fantastic place to watch Netflix. We've got Brady Burton. Hello, words twice there. It's been good. Thanks, Lauren. Talking about ourselves. It's good. Coming down here, we've got some sad news tonight too, team, and a little bit of, what did we say? A little bit of serendipity, a bit of weird stuff going down. And that's in regards to Aaron Vidal. Rest in peace, sir. I found out someone was saying that they believe that he was in the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment up until 2010. That would be extra upsetting to find out the young police officer that lost his life to Tommy L. or E. Gunn, rapper, dangerous driver extraordinaire, but he stuffed his life by driving too fast, too furious, has taken the life of a young man who's now got a lovely pregnant wife expecting at home who will never see his dad because someone wanted to think they were a black gangster. Doesn't work. He's probably with Macca's run with President Trump. Could have been. I wish I was. Hello, g'day. What's up? Got you all there. We're almost back. Fletch with the blue hearts. We haven't seen those. I like them. Moving down Snowy River. Howdy, Kaz and team. Good chat the other day, mate. Snowy, it's a pleasure talking to all of you. Every single time, honestly, I want to be totally honest with you. Every time I pick up the phone for the first time with a subscribers communique, I hold my breath for a second and think, please don't be a freak, because we've got a few and we've had some really serious ones. And I tell you, the directors know who I'm talking about. We've got Michael Stott there, who's turning up, the dog-loving young fella. Medic! I'm just trying to calm down a bit here, team. I ran up from the land of Lou, where the best books get read, and I'm just getting my breath back down. It's okay if it's big coming out, just not going in. Jimmy, how you going there, mate? Patreon brother. Emma C. Hey, I know you're busy, but I sent a comment on a previous video how to deal with a non-supportive parent. We can deal with that tonight. I think it's an important one. And we've got Ollie, which is in the same predicament. And we will talk about that tonight, actually, for you, Emma, because you're worth it. L'Oreal. We've got Ethan Andrew. Good to have you here, mate. Jay Hayes, West Side, not cerebral palsy. We've got the panda of colour, which is red. The stream has just made my day. What happened, Red? Let us know in comments so we find out what's going down in your life. Harvey can't wait to join the army. Trent Holland, hey, Kaz, saw your two-part videos on Robin training compared to Kapooka. Absolutely love them. And now I'm that much more pumped for it. And the good thing about it is, wait 2 seconds. We've got Manuish. Hey, mate, love your work heading for Kapooka late July. Nutsu Cow, thank you for your donation of your time. Thank you for your donation of your dinero. And thank you for having the to put your signature down and say you want to serve. And we'll talk about that sort of stuff tonight too. Thank you very much, mate. In July, you're just waiting for it to get cold enough to get into the new financial year. I get it. Guys and gals, what was I going to talk about? What was I talking about? Schedule. Okay. Schedule. I've got a bit of a list of things to talk to you about here tonight. It is very, very hard, and Lauren knows because I talk to her almost daily, to let you know that for me to say this is the schedule that what we give videos at, it's almost impossible because it has to go when I've got the energy, the horsepower, so to speak, when things are aligned in my life, and also when enough has changed to give you something back. If I was on every night, that wouldn't be a blessing to you. It'd be a curse where you feel either commitment to stay or commitment to go. So don't expect it every Tuesday and every Friday, because when it doesn't happen, I don't want you to think, where is he? Is he okay? Let's ring the 50, etc. Sorry. Have we got JC on here yet? He's our local thin blue line. You know, they're doing it pretty hard at the moment, the lads. They are, and I hope he's okay. Hector, hero of Troy, Kaz. My board is on the 7th of July. Thanks for all your help. I'll give it my best crack, and if John West rejects, I can put 343 on the application card. You can, and you know what? We're going to come up with a lot of you guys and gals put a lot into the signature, into the commitment to join the military. It's important as a channel that we also give you a way out, an off-ramp, alternative things that you can do to get you out of the bacon, so to speak. We've still got sound, have we? Okay, we have. It's very important that we give you an off-ramp, other job solutions. If you had been my child that never met their dreams, what they could do next, etc. So always have a second, third course of action. Being stubborn and say 343 is all I'm willing to do, that can set you up for a fail, because there's a lot of things that are not your fault that can come unstuck, that can cause you to do the opposite of a Bradbury. We've got the lovely Dave D here, who is now the cadet, so to speak, lower than the recruit. Now, it's a fantastic thing considering he's corporate. We've got the Joseph Barker, Hannibal Barker, the scourge of Rome. Hey, update, going to artillery operator after year 12. How's your back, Jack? How's your back? Okay, mate. No drama. We need you on that wall. We do. We need you on that wall. Good stuff, Joseph. This is a Navy-friendly channel too, team. You know, we'll tease the Navy guys, but it is good to have them here. Yep. So those are the Wasp, the Albatross, and also the Wasp, the Albatross, and the Canberra great to have you here. And we're going to get some patches soon, and we'll start to represent the ships that represent us and our channel. And we'll do the same for some of our military board of honor that we get in the background. At the moment, we've got two people on that, and that's Stewie, who got the best soldier at Kapuka, the Cameron Baird Award, plus the most outstanding soldier of his platoon, Borneo, I believe it was, in the School of Infantry, and he is now matched with Fletch. I'm trying to draw a line in the sand to see where I can get back to start again. Miscellaneous. Hey, Kaz, hope you're doing well, mate. I left for Kapuka on the 27th of July. You've got others that are also going for 27th of July in this chat right now. Make sure you get to know each other. What's your advice for when I reach Singleton? Miscellaneous. I've just put 2 videos out that took a hell of a mucho long time for me to make for you. Watch the videos, team. Tick the bell. Watch the videos. And then when you have questions, put them in the comments for those videos. So when I get above terra firma, I can catch up with a bit of caffeine. When I don't have a little one that I'm entertaining, I'm not talking about the little one, then we can sort that out. Let's break down to the start, team. If you have any questions have been waiting, please. This is the time to copy them and get ready to paste them again in comments so we can get back to where the current topics are. Tommy, yeah, Tommy. Hey, Kaz, currently doing physio, so I'm sticking to push-ups and cardio. Excellent. And such. Is there ever a point I can train too much? Not really, Tommy. But what you can do is you can also go into the pool now. If there's a heated pool near you, do that. So it's not just working the anterior of your body, which is the front. Go and work the posterior of your body, which is your back, or do dips. So you start working the triceps and also working your back, shoulders, etc. The last thing you want to get is not symmetry on your body. It makes you look like a weirdo too. And when you get older or injured, what the pressure pulling on that can cause additional back injuries. Kaz, slow down. Kaz, the Singleton videos are outstanding, mate. Thank you. Thanks, PK. Thanks, mate. Guardian of the Galaxy. Hey, Kaz, this might seem like a stupid question. It's fine. But would amphibious infantry and regular infantry be 2 separate preferences for joining? It's funny you say that because in some ways, yes. They're both from the Royal Australian Regiment. Just like when 3RA had the para wings, they were still part of light infantry, although 2's not light infantry anymore. They're just specialists. That's all. The criteria when you want to go there is you need to go for a swim. I believe it's still 18 minutes to do 400 meters in cams. I think it's 15 minutes tread water. I think it's 10 or 15 meters underwater, as well as a successful pass in your Hewitt underwater escape helicopter underwater escape training. Guys, some other things we want to talk about. All right. The PlayStation 5, the giveaway for the Patreon members. Every single name that is of the Patreon was put onto a piece of paper, identical sizes, and shipped off to Tasmania. Lauren, it's in her hands right now. I will not be the person that ever checks out who it is. I want to make sure there's absolutely no cooking of the book, so to speak, with me going, that person's fantastic. I want to give it to them. So I don't know what Lauren's got in store. Okay, I will talk to Lauren in the next couple of days and see what we've come up with, because it's going to be a pleasure to be able to tell you what the winner is. On the Patreon side of things, we went out to just hold off on the comments here. Guys, this is a really important message for you all, because you might be single at the moment, but you may not be tomorrow. With the Mexican flu, so to speak, the Mexican beer, Chinese flu, Kung flu, so to speak, caused the shit amongst the left. When that came out, what we had was Felix the cat was unable to go down to see his missus, who's from Argentina, supporting him like that. So we decided, what can we do to help him out? Because he also didn't have local leave to go down and see her. She wasn't able to come to his march out, despite the fact he came first in his platoon, Cameron Baird Award, VC. So we got myself and Aaron Dixon, the hitman Aaron Dixon. Look at that. Some of the names I said in the last 30 seconds. Bam.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I know you're listening, Siri.
I don't know what that means.
Of course you
If you
don't.
like, I can search the web for. I know you're listening, Siri.
Siri, where is Joe Biden hiding? Siri, where is Joe Biden hiding? How convenient. How convenient. So you're listening to the rest of our conversation. No one said SIRI before that. She pops up. There you go. I told you. It's not this. It's not the microphone. We're being listened to. Anyway, tin foil hat wearers. So we went out and decided to show young lady, Vicky, that she is part of a family, so to speak. We went out to the other side of Sydney. We went over there. We took some shekels from the channel. We took some vouchers for pajamas, all that sort of stuff for her so she can watch Netflix while Fletch said Felix the cat is lying in ambushes, season weather terrain, getting pissed on, trying to uphold his perfect status from the Cameron Bett Award, VC. And she was fantastic. She trusted us. I think it showed her that the horse worth backing is Felix the cat, so to speak. It was a great thing to be able to show through actions, not just words that I'll be there. And if she's watching now, she was a great chick. I loved the two black cats. They loved me, so to speak. And you got to understand when you join the army, there's one of the only organisations that is, in fact, like a family, where we will be there to support you. When you go overseas, you can have groups that go around and mow the lawn, not cut your grass, and look after your family, right? So it was a pleasure to do that for one of our fantastic recipients who's in chat tonight and is also, hold off on the comments for a second, I've got to let you know when it comes to fitness, if you watch the last two videos that we put out, we explained that when you go for infantry 343, when you go for that corps and you go from Kapuka, you march out on the Friday, your parents can come and see you on Saturday, Sunday, local leave, got to be back at night. Okay, that you leave Kapuka on the Monday, no time off. You go to the School of Infantry, you get there late at night in buses, and then the next morning you get out of bed and you do a fitness test to determine are you an up or are you a down. Well, if you're a down, then it can be a long stay at the School of Infantry, or it could result in catastrophic failure due to attitude leaking, etc. Now, I see you there, Hector, and I'll be talking about OSB in 2 seconds. JC, great to have you here, mate, and your brothers in blue, mucho respecto, and I know you're back at work now, so we can talk to you about that in a second. So what we're talking about. Okay, so what happened was Long Tamperton is about to start session, has started session. But it turned out that there was the summary of multiple platoons in Gallipoli platoon. So more than 80 people trialled to go to the session where only 48 people could be taken. They're the 48 people who are most ready to commence session. So it means the other people that thought you get out of Kapuka and then your 13-week starts, not so. Not so, Miss Jane. What's occurred is now they will be at the School of Infantry for at least another 4 to 5 weeks before the next session is fielded. And then they'd better be in the top 50 again, top 48. Right. Otherwise, they'll continually get recirculated until they are fit enough. And the PT between not being in session can be extreme. You want to get into session. You want to get out of there as soon as you can. Okay, Hector. Not suits cow, the OSB. Any tips on the OSB? Yes. I've said before, listen to everything you can from Dan Carlin. You should be able to answer to me, Hector. And by the way, mate, we need to have another phone call soon so we can do all this by voice. But I'll give you a rough synopsis here. Hey, Madison. So what will occur is you need to have your generals of choice, so to speak. Who is popular? Wait a sec. Here we go. One of our people here. Hey, mate, just be aware you're on a live stream at the moment, so don't say what your name is.
Yeah, no worries.
How are you enjoying the school, so to speak?
Yeah, it's not too bad. made it into that, made it past that BFA, sorry, and got into the session.
That's fantastic. I already knew this because I've been asking about you.
Bullshit.
No shit.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, brother. Look, so I don't compromise you, can I give you a call after this stream's over?
Yeah, no worries, mate.
All right, mate. Proud of you, mate.
Alright, okay, so
Duty first. It's begun.
duty first.
Good on you, mate. Team, I'll never compromise you, okay? That's not my gig. You know. So there we go. That was one of the recipients from said platoons just started. So, team, that means that there's people now waiting to go back through and say, well, when can I join? So 13 weeks can become 20 weeks very quickly. And somewhere between 13 weeks and the bits that are added on, the longer it stretches out, you can get too comfortable at the School of Infantry. The worst thing, the worst case scenario that can happen to you is while you're waiting to do a session and you get weekend leave, is you keep going to Newcastle, you meet the girl of your dreams, she becomes the one, and you start to deliberately back squad or not try your hardest because you're in love. And that happens too. Anyway, where are we? JC, what's going on? Madison, is there a way to tell the police that there is someone driving around on a suspended license, or am I just waiting until I get pulled over, or am I just waiting till they get pulled over? JC's one to ask. He's in the comments there. What do you know what I'd do, Madison? Rather than let them stuff their own life, I'd let them know that I care about you. I care about your future. And if you continue to drive around on said license, then I'm thinking about telling the police. Because then you've given them a chance to hit rock bottom and stop rather than them just go bang. And then they're driving on a disqualified license. I don't know what that incurs or the trouble that might be irreversible for them for the rest of their life. We've got Paddy John. What's your cow? Sorry, I'll hold a bit longer. The Spider-Man icon. You were interviewing soldiers in your latest vids. How do you show footage of them? Won't they get in trouble? That's a few years old, Paddy John. And that was also a filming event that I was doing for the School of Infantry, making videos for them. And they had no problem with it. It was all vetted. And every single one of them had signed also a release form saying good to go. And again, if someone's in the military, I'll never let them on camera doing something that makes the army look bad either. Tommy Baker. Hey, Kaz, looking to join the infantry reserves. Yep. What would you say the number one thing that we should know before we sign up? I would say that it's not a joke, mate. When you go into the Army Reserve, it is still a commitment. There is an expectation you meet the dates. There is an expectation that you are fit enough when you go in. This is a perfect way to do 40 years in whatever said career you're doing, whether that be a lawyer, hate lawyers, most of them, whether it be a police officer, whether it be a fireman, whether it be a paramedic, whether it be an accountant. What better person to do it than an accountant? Someone that can go and help their buddies out with financial advice, but also have something that gets them outside their plaster wall cell from work and gives them a bit of action, adventure, and alter ego. The Clark Kent Superman. You know, all I'd say is go with the right attitude, treat it like you're going for the regular army, and understand that signature has weight if the glass and they need people, i.e. the Kokoda track. Happy 12th birthday to my little Madeline. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Madeline. Happy birthday to you. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. JC, are you allowed to give birthday punches to a 12-year-old girl when you're a cop? Probably not. Willie, our other loyal Patreon legend. G'day, Kaz, regulars and all newcomers. Hope today has been good for you all. I hope it has been too. And honestly, team, if this is your first time here, great to have you. We're an Australian channel that answers your questions. We answer as many as we possibly can. That's for sure. Good to have you here. Make sure you subscribe and throw a question down below. And you don't have to donate anything other than your time. That's all we want. Lauren, Let's call that cows alive and not that's five. The bingo caller. Sidge Ward of Katarina. That's a fantastic name. Kaz, you're a great man, and I'd love, wait a sec, and I'd love for you to do a video about how to survive Kapooka in good detail, if there isn't one. Judy first. Look, Sledgy, it's a little bit low hanging fruit, Kapooka, because like I explained in other videos, the only way you can fail Kapooka is through an act of God, severe injury, or attitude, or crime. That's it. Sexual harassment, getting drunk, your head's not used to the dosage of the alcohol, and you do something stupid to a female soldier. That can get you kicked out like that. The other one is you go in there with a poor attitude, insubordination, you're not a team player, and they determine you haven't got it cut out. You're getting back squatted for psychological administrational reasons. See you later. And the other one is you might just say, I haven't got it. But we don't get people come to this channel that seem to pull out at Kapooka. Everyone that comes to this channel tends to get through A-OK and actually rings me and lets me know, or messages each Sunday when they're at church pretending that they're religious. There's a reason for that everything's good. And they have a ball because they psychologically know what's coming and they know the staff aren't angry at them. And if someone is in trouble, they know the reason why. I think what this channel does is cultivates people that go in ready, that are able to help other people get through their testing experience. In saying that, you do need to be fit at Kapooka. It's not easy. It's not easy, team. It is not easy to do anything for 90 days straight. Not trying to offend LGBT there. Straight, get it? From 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night and then go to sleep, don't get out of bed. That's not easy to do for anyone, especially those that also don't like to be controlled. So it's not easy, but there's not a real video you could make on it. Right? Hector, right now, mate, my three leaders are Rommel, Churchill, and Monash. Hector, that's fantastic, but I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. Again, Rommel, Churchill, Monash, low-hanging fruit. They sound like ones you might have done at school. They sound like modern history almost. Think about the Middle Ages and also going back to ancient times too. Someone who's a little bit further off the tree, so to speak. I loved Genghis Khan because it was amazing. He became an amazing leader, not because he was a tactical leader, but because he was able to identify leadership in other people so that he had only the critical decisions to make because he already had people he trusted in areas where he had to be able to listen to them and be able to deploy them and use them as tools within his arsenal. So he was amazing. Rommel was too, but he was also bipolar, not as in like his mind, but he was a polarizing figure. Some were jealous of him, because of his ability. The H guy, also was skeptical of him, but still respected him, and it ended up costing him his life. I love Julius Caesar. I think he was a classic who dares wins. Again, you could think low-hanging fruit, but it's the things that he did in his career. I don't think anyone has ever achieved more than Julius Caesar did as a first-time out. For someone who was a master politician, someone who was a master general, someone who was fantastic at theatre. He represented that very well when he fell off a boat, when he was the first one to make it over onto the UK mainland and fell off the boat, landed in the mud. And they reckon instead of turning it into a horrible, he rolled back and forth in the mud and thank God I'm here. I claim you as mine sort of thing. So he turned a negative, what do they call him in those days? Lauren didn't know this one. A sign from the gods, so to speak, and he turned it into a positive. Gaius Marius, fantastic. Trajan, amazing. Is there any that are really any better than Arminius, who actually went from a kid to getting knighted basically within the Roman army and then went back and led Varus's legions into one of the most sophisticated and brutal ambushes in the history of the world. Germanian, sounds good too. You may have heard of that in the Teutoburg Forest. What a horrible way to go. 2 or 3 days that went over on the way to their winter camp. So again, it felt like Kapuka walking back from the range, then attacked. Would have been terrible. And they gave the prisoners to children like a cat would give a mouse to its kittens to practice the art of war, so to speak. Yonis, have you seen the statues overseas being taken down like Saddam Hussein's statue? Look, mate, I thought you were talking about the USA, and I think the only reason why they're taking statues down, it's got nothing to do with whether it was someone famous. It's got to do with laziness. They're going to tear down the nearest statue. Evidence of that is they were grabbing statues, okay, trying to erase past, the wrong past that was closest to them. So I wouldn't worry about them. Their day's almost over. Hey, Kaz, thoughts on artillery operator says, Brad, words twice. Don't say repeat when you're in artillery. They'll get angry. I'm not a fan of the actual role itself, and that's because the level of regimentality, I think it's the level of they're a quirky corps, but we need them 100%. But when you come to this channel and you ask a question, I've got to answer you honestly. I look at, do I know anyone that has spent 20 years plus in artillery? And the answer was no, except for one. He was a good guy, but yeah. If you have a choice, and that's where you want to go because you've had a family member there, awesome, do it. Okay, because we don't want people not to go there. But if you have a choice and there's 2 or 3 things you can pick from, I'd say just move that one to your third, and we'll have a talk offline on that another day. Haven't seen him, Jay. How have you been, Lauren? When I don't get through to you, I feel like my main advisor. I feel like I've lost a leg. Voodoo. G'day, Kaz. How would you advise someone who wants to leave the ADF, given the current economic state? Not too care? Mate, that's a very serious question, Voodoo. I would have to say to you, it would be folly to leave at the moment. Folly. If you have a job, a career to get out to go to, I'd go, okay, but still make sure you've done it seriously. Do not get out because you've just think the grass is greener. Remember, this was your dream job, yeah? Don't get out because people inside your organization are getting out. Don't get out because the morale is low because your boss is a dick, because bosses are only there for 1 year, 2 years max. Yeah. If you think we need to have a phone call and we talk about this the way I would as a platoon sergeant and an older man talking with someone else, then we'll do that. But don't make mistakes, mate. Don't make mistakes. No one knows what our economy is going to look like for the next 10, 20 years. Okay, no one knows what the redundancy is going to look like in roles that never come back. You still have to feed yourself. What are you going to do next? You have to have something, because respect comes from contribution to the country, contribution to yourself through hard work, through sweat and earning your guilt bread, so to speak, as the Jewish people would say. Now, I can tell you from someone who doesn't work, I created this channel to fill that void as much as possible. It will drive you insane being at home if you can't work. We better have that conversation, I think, my friend. Do you mean the shin pain, Monish? I'm not sure what that one's about. Has someone got shin splits? The tree man. Hey, Kaz, what are your thoughts on civilians who enter into the SAS? I don't know any civilians that have gone straight over into SAS. If they use it for a specialised role, no dramas. I would personally think that it's a lot better to come and learn the language, test yourself, learn the language of soldiering, become an asset, see if you're up to it, rather than roll the dice, cross the Rubicon, and bet it all on black. How could you possibly know enough by going straight over there without doing anything within the trade, which is military? I'd recommend at least go to Army Reserve, get a bit of a sniff for the weapons. Otherwise, every single learn that language instead of just concentrating on being fit, being strong, being active, being a team member, pushing through. You don't want to be learning at the same speed. PK. He looks over his arm like a parapet. Kaz, thanks for keeping us all entertained, mate. It's no problems, favourite Chewy. And it's great to have your son, PK Jr., who's doing well as well, mate. Sam Piravano. Hey, Kaz, what do you think about carpentry trade in the Army? I think carpenters are excellent. I've just no skill at it. I have a hard time getting a splinter. And the combat engineer role, do they go hand in hand? Absolutely, they do. I think that the engineers are the workhorse of the entire army. They are. And a lot of people didn't know back in the Roman days. Did you know this, Dave and JC and Lauren? Did you know that when you joined the Roman legions, you had two roles? One was infantry. The cross role from that was engineer. You were both. Because when you weren't doing your infantry foot slog and grunt work, you were building the roads that are still there today. You were building structures. You were building defenses. You were building bridges. Yeah, it was Roman soldiers under Apollodorus who built the bridge across the Danube that was considered one of the wonders of the world. And then Trajan had it burnt down after he went over and beat Decebalus. Came back, burnt it down. Crazy. And then he got the Trajan's column built in his, out of respect to him. They built the Hadrian's Wall. Yeah, crazy. I think engineers is a fantastic way to get in and still get out of the military, having worn the uniform, the Australian flag on the arm, maybe even with a work dog, and getting out with a bunch of tickets that let you do a soft landing back in the civilian life one day. You mix rank and project management in there, and you've got someone like Dave D. Good work, good setup. Lightfoot. Thanks, Monash. How did I put your name in orange? Where are we? Stoddy. Shin splints are the result of tighter and flexible calf muscles, putting too much stress on tendons, which become strained and torn. Warm-up and stretches would help. If pain persists, talk to a doctor. You can't cuff your way around shin splints. I think that I had compartment syndrome, which is something that is similar. You need to make sure that you've got one and not the other, because there's completely two different treatments. Shin splints will often get you kicked out of the military altogether, and you won't even know you've got them until you start doing weighted sort of running, pack marching on solid surfaces, etc., i.e. pack marches, force marches, which is faster than the speed you want to walk at, believe me. But compartment syndrome means the sheath that goes around your muscle, the muscle is bigger than what the sheath can hold. So it's like probably wearing a condom that's too small. So it's going to, I would know. And it's going to cause some aching that just it just throbs and throbs and throbs. And it can get to the stage where your legs feel like they're dropping off, and it can be agony. And the way around that, if they can't rectify it, is room to expand, etc., and horrible scars. Where are we? I still get aching legs all the time. And you wouldn't think so when you see how small my calf muscles are. Seagulls laugh at me at times. I saw Mr. P here somewhere. Again, not believe it, Kaz. Hair done, clean shaven, but a big. Where are we? Where'd he go? Not believe it, Kaz. But big, but those Buccaneers, 35 minutes. You can't see big ears under this. Now you can. Bam. And this hair, this is the longest my hair's been in years. Probably about 30 years. Skippy badge there. Slim Jim Bob. I've got a couple of young fellas that want to join the team. What's recruiting looking like? At the moment, they're taking people on, mate. I think, surprisingly enough, I think we've got people that are filtering out, and it doesn't make sense to me. These day and times at the moment, it really doesn't. It's actually scares me. I don't want to see people get themselves out in the cold, so to speak, with no way of coming back in, because there's no guarantee when you get out they'll let you back in, believe me, because you go straight out. These days when you get out of the military, you're straight away engulfed by the Army Reserve, and that doesn't necessarily mean you can come back the other way. It's kind of a one-way valve. Thank you very much, Panda of Colour. Mutsu Cow, thank you very much. Guys, you've been really, really generous the last few streams. I want you to please understand that you don't have to donate anything when you come to here. You know, you don't have to. All right. We fully appreciate it. There's going to be a really, really big problem soon for lovely Lauren because I don't know how she's going to do it, but we're giving away a PlayStation to Patreon. That's one of the PlayStations, but we're giving another PlayStation or Xbox away to you guys. To you guys in the chat. I don't even know how you would do it. Whether you have a specific one, a stream where people are watching, and then we find out a way that while Lauren's on, she makes a decision while she looks at it. You all get to write something. I don't know. But one of you is going to get it soon, and you don't have to be in Patreon for the second one. All right? Paddy John's there. Nuts a cow. Got me enlistment day. Late August for infantry. 17. Do the work. I'm 17 and most likely going to be a young guy on the block. Any advice and how to deal with it? Everyone knows my advice is normally do not try at 17, especially infantry. Your body needs the scaffolding, the building blocks, your structure to be able to take the weights. You have no idea what you're in for. None. And your body is developing at the same time as we're breaking it down. Does your family support your decision to go in the military at 17? I'll tell you why. You are still considered a child by the government, which means that your parents at any stage can go, bam, and take, okay, they can take the consent away from you being at Kapooka or being at Singleton, or even if you get through Kapooka and Singleton and you make it to the battalion, if you are still 17, they can yank you out. So be very careful of putting yourself in a position if you do not have support from family, if you vent too loudly and your family thinks they're trying to save you and end your career. Be very careful. Lauren, she's got a great system. That's awesome. I look forward to talking to you about that. That's going to be great. This is a channel that loves giving you things, but it's not the channel you come to get something. We love surprising you. Today, I was with lovely Angela, you know, one of the mothers of the kids at our school. We were standing there talking shit. And I saw a guy, because people have told me before, maybe even JC, be careful about giving things to the homeless because quite often it's either where they want to be or it's a hustle and they're good at getting shit off people. Well, today we saw a guy that looked like Wurzel Gummidge. He looked like Tom Hanks if he'd been stranded for another 30 years with Wilson the Bull. But there was something he did that impressed me. He wasn't asking for anything. You know, if you had have said to Hollywood, make someone look homeless, this guy did better than what they could have done. But he wasn't complaining, and he wasn't a victim. He was walking around and he was collecting cans to try and raise money for whatever he uses it for. And we were just lucky that fate put me in a spot with Angela where we were standing there having a cup of coffee where he jackknifed, came across the road, bam, excuse me, mate. And we stopped him in his tracks and I said, I'm not trying to be insulting here. I think these are the words I said, but this is for you. And we gave him $50. Angela said, make it 20. He'll be happy with 20. But we decided, no, we'll go with 50. So we gave him the full pineapple because this is a man that is collecting cans, working for whatever he has. You mightn't like the job, but he's working for it. So we gave him $50. He had a lady that looked like she was in worse damage than him in tow. And for a second, his eyes went, and you saw who he used to be when he was younger. It just came alive for a second and just looked at us just long enough to go, thank you. And he was very polite. He accepted the money, nodded his head, looked around at her as if to say, this is for you too, love. And then they went on their way. It was a really, really special moment. No judging, just going into someone else's world for a little while. It was really good. I recommend if you can do that to someone and it's 5, 10, 15, 20, something that hurts a little bit. So you go, oh, geez, I just went out without something today. But it is something that will really, really make you feel good to not judge and to just project actions instead of just words, because there's too many words on Facebook. Madison brought most of the stuff on the packing list today. Just waiting on my confirmation for the 20th of July to relax and look after my new tattoo. Not too cow. Can you send us a photo on the Patreon to your new tattoo, or is it in an area you don't want me to see? Let me know, Maddie. And not too cow to you. We look down here, we see Monish. Love your content, Kaz. The content of your heart is a little bit murky, but thank you very much, Monish. Not too cow to you. Guys, you've been lovely tonight. You really have been. Simon Powell, our resident Rafi. Have we got any of our Navy on today? Have we seen anyone from the Canberra, from the Albatross, or from the Wasp? Has anyone seen those? We've got some American ships that have backed us in the past as well. Fletch, Night Lauren. Is Lauren off to bed? Night Fletch. Is Fletch off to bed? He's got to go to bed. He's got hard PT tomorrow. Or he's treated himself to a bit of self-love, and now he's got no testosterone left, and he's got to build it up for tomorrow. Dirty bastard. Jimmy, you're a Patreon member, mate. What are you doing? We know we don't have to donate, but we want to help the channel, mate. Please give me some advice for artillery observing. I'll absolutely do that. I don't want to go to Townsville for infantry reasons, but you know a lot more than me. You don't want to go to infantry to Townsville for infantry reasons, but you know more than me. All right, team. Not too cow prolonged. Thank you very much for the Fanta coloured donation. And we'll spend that on something nice, mate. And it's probably going to go towards the camper van, because I'll find out the next day or so the superannuation that'll be coming out of the bank, so I can assist my ex-partner, allow her to think that there is still some good guys out there. She looks after my daughter in a really great, respectful way. I'll make sure that I make a difference to her life, but also the camper van that will be the nexus of this channel. You will have a Scooby-Doo van, so to speak, and it'll be brand new, and there's not much change from 100K. I'll let you know. Right, but that's because I'm about to enter my second life. Artillery Observer. We're going to talk about that for the next 3 minutes, team. The Artillery Observer is more infantry than what they are artillery. Reason I say that, the Artillery Observer is useless if he's at the gun line where the artillery are, 20 kilometres behind the forward line of troops. The Artillery Observer has to be with a moving call sign or stationary call sign, which is on the forward line of troops, which is on the FEBA, the forward edge of the battle area, so to speak. Now, if you're going to use these area munitions, it's not just for artillery. It can be for fast air. It can be for naval gunfire. It can be assisting with either artillery, probably not mortars, but your job is to take the pressure off the platoon sergeant, platoon commander, so to speak. You'll have additional radios that you'll have on your back, and at the lowest ranks, you'll be a SIG more than the coordinated joint fire controller. That'll normally happen from the ranking person that travels with you. You'll have 2 or 3 with you in your little detachment, and you'll be in the administration of the platoon traveling in the center, or you'll be in a vehicle, in an armored column, so to speak, where you're able to do your bit, where you can observe the splash, which is where the rounds hit. Now, your job is to be up to date on what is sensitive. And I don't mean just civilians in the area. I mean infrastructure. We can't damage that. There might be roads, bridges. There might be religious, whatever. So your role is to see where the splash is, recommend what weapon system to use, how to use it, and whether to continue to use it, as well as you do battle damage assessment on the target as it's being hit. Now, when it comes to the administration side of things, there is a massive way in the way you are being used, utilized, administered in Darwin, per se, than what you would get used in Townsville. When you're in Townsville, you will actually get, I believe, attached to the units that you are supporting, which means you are free of the stresses that come with the artillery corps, but you will be around, hanging out with, drinking with, taken it easy with those of the foxhound element, which is the infantry. It's important that you have a relationship with infantry so they also know how to treat you. Okay? So you'll be gas bagging with these guys. You'll be chilling with these guys. You'll be operating with them. You have to be as fit as them. You have to be awesome on the radios and be able to work under pressure, finding grids. That won't matter. You'll have a GPS on your wrist. Okay, bam. You'll be an additional leg of communications back to the gun net. I recommend Townsville. I do. And they've got Cactus Jacks. Brisbane. I don't want to go to Townsville, mate. I do want to go to Townsville, mate. I do. Okay. Then go to Townsville and you'll be laughing. And you could go to 2. Yeah. You could go to 2. Madison, Lauren, when are you coming up here so we can work on that tattoo? My back is still free. You're trying to treat yourself like a colouring in book. I want to get one too. I'm actually thinking about getting an arm done. Chest, arm, down to the wrist, and maybe a little bit on the hand. I know we're not meant to, but you know what? It might be what it takes for me to get back and start going back to the gym again and try to turn myself into a little bit more of what I used to be. Let's talk a little bit about Aaron Vidal. He lost his life. He was the police officer that lost his life that we spoke about on our last live stream. I believe that he may have been next to her. He was killed by a negligent driver, someone driving like a dickhead. He lost his life. He served with his father. He had a wife and a child on the way. Good-looking lad, law-abiding lad, looked like a larrikin, and my heart goes out to him. But one of the really weird things is when I looked up him, because I was looking for a GoFundMe to try and help with, is another name came up that was Aaron Vidal. And it didn't make sense because I suddenly got killed in Iraq. I'm going, what is going on here? How's this for a little bit of prophecy, so to speak? Aaron Vidal was a Spanish soldier who'd been decorated twice, who got killed in Iraq 2 years ago in a vehicle accident. 2 Aaron Vidals, both military and ex-military servicemen, killed by the negligence of someone else in an automobile accident. All right. It was really freaky. Okay, there you go. JC was saying his neighbour was in his unit. It's very, very sad. And it's been really sad for New Zealand too. They had their police officers gunned down. We're looking at nearly 1,000 police officers that have been injured in the line of duty in the US at the moment. It's crazy. Slim, if you're ever on the Gold Coast, I'll buy you a beer. There we go. Where is Slim? There he is. Slim Jim Bob. Yeah, he was a good lad, always willing to have a chat, and Johnny Walker. Very sad, very sad. Patrick John, got to head out, guys. Had a great time, Kaz. See you, team. Patty John, see you after, mate. And thank you very much for your time, donation, and donations. Free man. I wish I was a free man. Hey, Kaz, what do you think about the youth nowadays? I feel like half of us youth are politically split. I'd say you're right that half is politically split. I'd say that a portion of yous are conservatives and the rest have no idea. That's the split. I don't really blame a lot of the youth on the way they are these days, because there's one thing that you can see that is coming. Life was very simple when I was young. It was very simple. You know, there was only a couple of channels to watch. There was no mobile phones. There was no internet. You know, there was basically no computers either. So everything was outdoors. You liked a girl, you had to go and tell her you liked it, or you came last. There was very little to distract you, and we got paid for hard work. We were rewarded for hard work. There was no unemployment, pretty much. Everyone worked. You know, but now it seems like there is so much distraction. There is so many titles. The social justice warriors, they've only been going since after 2014. It's a new thing. But people that have been 16 and onwards think it's been there forever. No, it's not. It's a brand new phenomenon. And it is, in fact, a phenomenon. But it is something that people mature out of. The problem is they've also got people behind them and behind them and behind them. We're seeing Jimmy Kimmel. Looks like he's getting cancelled now. He's now off the air. Might not be coming back until next summer, if at all, because of 2 or 3 things that he did that weren't even really a big deal. One of them was. Yeah, one of them was. And that was a young lass, Megan Fox or whatever, was 15 years old when they were doing skits with her. 15 years old, where they were sexually exploiting her on media in a makeshift bar doing skits, etc. And she's come out and said, I was 15, dude. You know, and he's gone, oh, it's okay. That's the way, you know, all blokes think anyway, offline. You go, mate, you can't survive if you lean left. You can't. But how do you get educated if there's subjects that you can bring up and straight away you can get cancelled or kiboshed by people as well? You know, it's a really weird one. It is. What else were we going to talk about? Long Tamperton, yep. 80 people went for it. 48 got in. Aaron Vidal, yes. DVA. DVA looks like there might be a big tax break coming for anyone that's from DVA in there in chat. And what is happening is apparently the pension and the Com Super pension that people are on that's been getting taxed shitloads. I pay more than $1,000 a fortnight tax on a pension. A fortnight, $24,000 plus a year. You know, it's crazy. And apparently that the case was lost by the government, and it was won by the veterans. And they're looking at reducing that tax to a point where it might be quite lucrative. We'll see how that pans out. It's a polarized world we live in. It is. It is. Do you know what? That's what I was going to talk about. This could get us cut down. What do you think about this, JC? I've got 2 answers here. One is an answer for police, and the second one is an answer for politics. I'll give you the tip right now. Be ready for this to go like I've just pissed on it. Okay. The first one for police. You've got to remember, in our country, Australia, USA, etc., these states don't need them, shouldn't have them. They look good, sound good. It gives you a team to back with, but that's because we're tribal animals. But what it means is there's always people that go without when it comes to reference to things that are state funded. I think the police academy should be federal, only federal police, one law system in every single state. You should be able to do a goddamn U-turn. If anything chaps my ass more than chap, it's not being able to do a U-turn in New South Wales, but then cross the border, and that's the preferred way to go. And then you get to the other side, ACT, and you can do them down there too. I think there should be an academy like Kapooka, but it's for police. So every copper knows that there is standardised training. And then what happens is, if you grew up in New South Wales, if you want to get away from where you grew up, you might have been a Mount Druitt cop or a Mount Druitt kid that joins and does want to go back to the other side of the tracks, post me to Ballina. Awesome. Or go and do your time somewhere else. Tom, I want to come back. I want a surfboard under my arm. If I haven't got the sort of head that attracts the ladies, I'll be a great surfer instead. Do that. How awesome would that be? Surfing out in the back and there's a copper there. G'day, buddy. How you going? You know, just taking it easy, being normal. That would be a good way to do it. Wait a sec. We've had some craziness here. We've got Rodney Jazwinski. Not Sue Cow. He's gone all the way yellow. He's gone psycho tonight, team. Settle down. And underneath, we've got Nathan Blums. Going to becoming an Army officer, especially either Army helicopter pilot or Army armoured officer. Armoured's awesome. Finally, how hard the aptitude test? Any thoughts? You've got a guy straight below you, Dave D, that can answer those questions for you like that, because he knows more than me, because he is one. Dave, can you answer that question for Nathan Blums there? Nathan, thank you very much. That was a handball straight away down to the man straight below you. JJ, good to have you here, mate. So I believe that should happen in the police. I think in the USA, they need to go to super academies where someone in Detroit, black officer, can join up, get taken away from where he gets touted as an Uncle Tom, so to speak, and do his first posting maybe in Alaska, or maybe go over to Oklahoma or go to Texas. So people always got a washed out police force, not washed up, washed out, so that there isn't the chance for you as a police officer to be in the same location for 20 or 30 years, dealing with people decade after decade after decade and their fathers, which builds up that hatred, which gives a complete rejuvenation. But it also takes the cops away from the front line and allows them to go to somewhere they like as well. I think it'd be a good answer. Now, that out the way, police out the way. The other one I was going to talk about is, imagine this. For anyone that's watched the USA at the moment, the politics, the problem up there, would this be the biggest ambush ever? Ever. You want to get famous? I'll tell you how to get famous. You want to know how you get 1 billion views on YouTube? I'll tell you how to do it. And that is for Joe Biden to come out now after being a career politician for 50 years and achieving nothing, okay, but controversy, and comes out and says, I'm going to make an announcement to all of USA and the world. Listen in. It's going to be on in 23 minutes. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. And he better be in a bunker when he says it too. And he just goes up there and he says, you want to be watching this one, Mr. Trump? And he gets up there and he says, because at the end of the day, you should be thinking, if you are the politician and you have moral courage, my country comes before me. He's basically a billionaire. He doesn't need money. Remember that. If he looks at his party and says, we have absolutely been radicalized. We are absolutely monkeys in a cage going crazy over bananas. It's just pathetic. There is nothing we can offer to this table that is logical. So what I'm going to say is, if you haven't got something nice to say, you don't say it at all. I've got something nice to say. In the absence of being able to give a better product to the people of the USA, the land of the free, and those that depend on the mantle of common sense that we provide, then what I'm saying is, I recommend that every single person on voting day, on the 3rd of November, comes forward and votes for Donald Trump. And I think that's what you should do. Let's get some standardized for the next 4 years, Democrats. For the next 4 years, he said he can do this. What if he can? What if he can? Siri just started listening again then, Tim. And people will be going, what are you saying? Trying to shut him down. And he goes, let's give him his 4 years. If he gets it right, we're laughing. We'll be a better country. They can't afford too much more of this fighting. He has no policy. The Democrats have no policy at all. Only corruption and the downfall of their own country. If he really loved his country, that would make him a patriot, to stand up like bloody Washington, who looked the devil in the eye, crossed the Delaware and said, okay, never won a battle yet. Let's roll the dice on this one. Imagine if he did that. How polarizing would that be? Would he get executed? I don't know. But that'd be crazy, and that would be leadership, because there is not a single thing the Democrats have put up that makes any sense whatsoever, other than hatred, vitriol, and negative politics. Leo Wanker, start me for life. Haircut. Did we get any thumbs down after that one? Hey, Lauren, do you think someone could tattoo a geo duck? Don't know. Dave says there's practice aptitude tests. Okay, Lauren. Ethan, I've been wanting to go in as a combat engineer. See, no one cares about politics. MWDH, married with dependents. Josh. Married with dependents. Okay. Again, people with children, I prefer to have a phone call with you to help you so that you get that tailored message that is suited just for you. You've got to have your ducks aligned when you go for the military, and you've got dependents, because you're actually affecting the missus, the kids, etc. Are they supportive or aren't they? If they are supportive, you're laughing. Remember, as soon as you get to Kapooka, they're going to ask you, is anyone married or have dependents, etc.? Fill these forms out, put them in. So they already know that you're going to be on the DHA database, so to speak, and they're going to start preparing a property in the gaming unit. Then you get to the school of ITs, whether it be initial employment training for infantry, whether it be down in Pucka for transport, whether it be Steel Barracks Sydney for engineers, whatever it is, and then they'll address that again. And then you'll get to your unit, and you'll be going up, and you'll have a house ready, whether it be a service provided property or whether it be RA, which is rental assistance, and then they'll be moved into that property at a time which is convenient for them as well as you. Don't plan to have your children and your family there as soon as you turn up, because you might turn up and get told you're going out bush for 8 weeks, a week after you get to your unit. Remember that, depending on the time of the year that you get there. JC, I didn't finish year 12 and I passed ADF and police aptitude. Well, because aptitude is not based on your schooling so much as your problem-solving capability, whatever, and that's about your IQ, yeah? Can Kapooka's training prepare you for Singleton? Not really. Not really, Thomas. Of course it can. It can, because it cultivates teamwork. You learn about everything, about speaking army, about how to move around, how to have a reaction to timings, etc. So of course it can. I take that back. But it is not the same. It is more flexible. It is more relaxed. But when you're working, you're really under the pump. And there is some really big assessments that aren't assessments on paper. Do you know what one of the hardest things in the military of all corps, especially in the operational theatre, and JC can tell you about this too, is being in a position when all you want to do, you're ready to quit, you're ready to tap out, but you can't. There's no tapping out. It's like someone who has chronic pain, but it's not terminal. Even if you do nothing about it, it's not going to kill you. You can't tap out, but you also can't see the finish line. That is a very, very exhausting, hard thing to do, and it's hard to go through. But it's fine, because you don't go through it alone. You'll be right. Justin Waits, thoughts on infantry officer, army officers tossing up between infantry soldier and infantry officer. Well, Justin, the good thing is it's not your choice. You still have to qualify to go and be an infantry officer. You still need to go and do the OSB for them to say, okay, I think you can be an officer. It's a good attitude you've got. You're willing to do both. That's fantastic. Okay, but they're going to want to know, what have you done that displays that you have leadership capabilities in the past? Have you been the captain of anything? Do you have any negative traits that you could tell us off the bat about yourself? Are you able to look at yourself critically and say, hey, I could really improve? My weaknesses are. Can you work on those weaknesses? Can you listen to information and advice given from others? Do you have narcissism? Do you have a personality disorder? Do you have enough professional arrogance about you that you know how to stop to someone that's twice as old as you and tell them, Sergeant, acknowledge that, relax, stand down. This is what's going down. There's times where you've got to put your foot down and you need to make a decision. Cold coffee, but not quite ice. Luke Morey. I thought it was Luke Mornay. Hey, Kaz, is there times I can hit the gym during Kapooka? None. You can't even go get a can of Coke, mate. Gym is not important, team. You know, you can do push-ups in your room when no one's watching. You can do dips on the side of your bed, treat it like a prison cell. Muscular endurance is what you need, not actual strength, so to speak. And you'll do a graduation of activity and strength building and circuit work while you go through the School of Infantry anyway, okay? Dave D, just JC, well, up to date, mate. Kine and Peppers, JC, the show Kine did something on that. I'm not sure what that's about. JC, Spartan, not sure for New South Wales. It's a uni degree in New South Wales, yep, in Queensland. And the typing is the hardest thing, I reckon, for the police force in New South Wales. Or if you go in there as a mature applicant, this is what sucks. Sorry, a little bit of crappy shit here. If you're 18 years old, you can go to New South Wales Police and get a scholarship going there where it's basically free. But you could be, we'll say Michael Stott, who's had a considerable working career and then go to join the police force and you could pay to go through the academy. That's crazy. Normally, by the time you have had that said career before that, you don't have the spare money to go and put into training to start another thankless role. I think they've got to ask about front. But people take their training seriously if they had to pay for it too, don't they? Oops. Tree Man. Hey, Kaz, I've always wondered, does having knowledge of firearms and different kit mess up things in training, or is it beneficial? Makes no difference, mate. Whereas people are talking about 223s and 308s and 3030s and all that, we don't use that jargon in the military. Okay? 5.56, 223. Okay, 308s, that sort of stuff, 762. So there's basically two ammunitions we speak about. The other one, okay, is the 50 caliber itself, or 9mm for pistol. We keep it nice and simple. Everything they want you to know, they'll teach you. Jackson Hunter, that's a good name. He hunts Jacksons. Hey, Kaz, what do you think of people appealing class 4 medical like myself? Oh, Jackson, it's a tough one, buddy. It's a tough one. Are you actually in the military and you're fighting against a medical discharge? Is there something about you that has been injured by military service and you can't accept the fact that the system is trying to do you a favor and telling you, dude, you're just going to get worse and worse and worse if we don't pull the pin on you soon? Is that you? Or is there something about your enlistment that they're saying you can't come in because you're medically classed 4, and if you want to appeal, that's going to cost you a lot of money, and we're trying to give you a hint as hard as we can that we can't afford to take a bet on you? Which one is it there, Senior Hunter? Cool name, by the way. Thomas Hale, does the School of Infantry build up on your fitness? Absolutely. Or do you have to be ultra fit before you join? You don't have to be ultra fit. Already am fit and have a fitness background. It's about toughness, mate. It's not about fitness. It's about toughness. The people that struggle the most often are fit people. You're confusing me, Kaz. What do you mean by that? When you've got yourself to a fitness level and you're used to being fitter than those around you, but then we take you out of that and then we surround you by fit people, can you handle the pressure when you're not the strong one, the fit one, so to speak? I'll give you a quick example on that. If you are the white guy from England that goes to the Olympics for the marathon and then you're surrounded by Kenyans, you've been the fastest in your entire country, undisputed. Now you're about to come last in a grueling 2-hour and 12-minute race where you come last. Are you going to have the mentality to be able to hack that? Being the fastest in the country but last on the day. A lot of people have a hard time. When they go from being fit to the least fit in a group of fit people. Lauren, Conan, do you have the bat phone number? Just text, but not at strange hours. We do get some strange hour calls. Emma, Kaz, how do you deal with non-supportive parents? There we go. Okay. Non-supportive parent. Mum reminds me on a daily basis looking at ADFA for engineering, need signature from her. So you're 17. Emma, like I say to everyone, I want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. I've got a daughter. It's very important to me that girls succeed just like guys do. If you're 17, but there is so many holes in your kite that you're trying to fly with. I really do suggest to anyone that's 17, I think the army needs to stop taking people in that precarious time of their life, because when you're 17, if it doesn't work out, you're also dashing someone's hopes, destroying the first dream career before they're even old enough to vote. What's going on there? It can't hurt you to work in a coffee shop, to train on fitness, to make you the best version of you. Let your actions convert your mum, not to join, but to understand this girl, Emma, is not the girl I thought she was, the one I argued with all the time over said subjects A, B, C, D, and E. She's matured. She goes out there when it's cold and she still goes for a run. I see the way she's tirelessly trying to improve herself. I see her reading and studying and listening to podcasts. I see her in the trenches with Kaz, just trying to get some residual tips here and there. She knows what she wants. Okay, if you were 18 and 19, you got a lot better chance of getting in, of converting your mum and making sure that the pins are aligned before you put that signature on paper. The last thing you want to do is go in there at 17 where your mum has all the power, because she might not want you to go in, not because she thinks you can't do it. It might be because she doesn't want to lose a little girl. You might be all she has, mate. Ask her, why doesn't she want you to do it? Does she think you can't do it? Does she not think that the military hasn't had to put their hand up someone's ass and puppet them through different ways and teach them how to be an adult at the same time they teach them to be a soldier? Of course they do. But imagine how proud your mum is going to be when you've got the uniform on, when there's photos of you hugging her with your Australian flag on. Be 18 years old, you can't say no after that. I'm not telling you to disobey your mum, not to disobey your dad. And there might be real merit in what they're saying as to you're not ready yet, or Emma, don't drop out of school. And I wouldn't say drop out of school to go to the military. You've got time to wait, to graduate, to treat that like an education mission. Yeah. It's important. It's important that you gel on this. Your mum is going to be one of the best allies for the rest of your life. So don't make an enemy from the person who loves you the most. But if we need to have a talk, let's do that. So Mrs. C stays happy. I have that too, Brady. Lauren would be a fantastic to speak to from a mother's point of view. I think you'd be all right. I'm just saying, take your time. Brody, love your fast food in Townsville, mate. Anyone know anything about School of Armour? Yes. I want to join as a tanker, and I'm curious about the training. Brody, we've got someone who's perfect for you, mate, and that is the Turret Lesoir. He was an exceptional tank guy. He'd won awards for being a tank guy. He's not here tonight, I don't think. The Turret Lesoir. His name is Scotty Healy. I worked with him. Fantastic guy. He can tell you inside out everything to do with tanks. But you'll be joining the School of Armour first, and you'll be doing that training down at Pucka, all right, which is cold or hot to the touch all year round. Tanks don't deploy. I don't think we've ever deployed tanks in operations. It's normally used for conventional war. Michael Stott, Yuri, at the top of my head, slightly flat feet, might be med class 2 for doctors and physios see that you need inner soles or special issued stuff. Thanks for that, man. Stotty Medic, Reezy. Hey, Kaz, I'm 17, did my assessment day, already got recommended for bosun's mate. Told them I'm happy to join after HSC. Do you feel that is too early to join? Navy's a bit different, mate. Navy's a bit different. Again, it depends if your parents are on your side or if they're not. But the Navy is what do you call it? It's different. The army is where physicality determines your contract, the hardship. The Navy is more technical, more skill-based as far as specialists within boats, ships, so to speak. It can't hurt you to wait till you're 18 either, because you still have to be able to take instruction. You still have to know what you've got. You don't want to leave school, so to speak. What's the hurry? What's the rush? Wait till you're 18. Show the army that you can commit to school, to getting those results, to finishing what you start, to keep your parents, to keep them on side before you jump ship, so to speak. Lauren Jackson, it's not great to have hemophilia, even if dormant. That you don't want that in the army. Where is it? Lauren Shiny, I have the same condition. It affected me as a toddler in the form of nosebleeds, but when puberty rolled around, it went dormant. I used to get nosebleeds a lot too, Jackson. And when I was going through the School of Infantry, I had some really, really bad ones. But again, never since. So I don't know whether that's childhood nosebleeds. It happens. But they'll deal with you the case by case. Willie, I can't answer anything on that, Jackson. However, if you want to appeal, you need a specialist report on your condition. And that's well said there. When it's anything to do with medical team, you need to understand there's only medical advice that they listen to. They do not care about referrals. They don't care about references from people or army or military people or CAS. They only care about medical advice. Why? Because that medical advice, it becomes the scapegoat for them if a mistake is made. Well, he said it, he's accountable. And you got to remember, they do one thing wrong and they get someone in and exacerbate their injury. That could be a class action against military that costs in the 6 and 7 figures. So they have to be careful. And they have enough people that are trying to join that they can afford to be picky. We're going to get out of here in a second. We might answer a couple more questions before we get out of here, because you've been fantastic tonight, team. There are other ways to serve your nation, absolutely, Jackson, and it sucks to have the royal disease. What, the royal disease? Well, for me, I have some other plans. Jackson, make sure you let us know what they are. What about a coffee van empire? I reckon that'd be awesome, making people happy through the legal drug caffeine. Just a disclaimer, people, any medical stuff I talk about is general only. I don't know your entire case. That's right. So take it as a start point for your own research and advice from a doctor. Yep. The young potato. What if you have asthma? It is extremely rare, although I've heard of a case now where asthma gets through, but typically asthma is almost no straight away. Now, what they will do is take you in and they'll do a lung test to see what your lung power capacity is, to see if it's going to be a problem or not. And if it's no, then it's no. Yeah. This is report so far, Kaz. Do you know much about military police dog handlers? I know that they are attack dogs. They're not sniffer dogs. I know that there is a long line. I know it's probably one of the only things that people go to MPs for. I would love to be getting paid to have a German Shepherd as the best mate, and then to be able to sick it onto someone who I use Dickhead as a nickname for. I think that'd be awesome. They also do, MPs also do trail bike courses, etc., so they can be used as guides and convoy escort support. There's a couple of good roles they do. Team, we're going to get out of here now because, again, we surprised you tonight. And thank you for this. If you haven't seen the videos we put out the last couple of nights, make sure you do. We've got a video coming out the next day or so, which is going to be the trip that we did on behalf of Patreon. Thank you very much, team. To go and support Vicky, the Argentinian wife of Felix the cat, who's going through the School of Infantry at the moment. And it was an absolute pleasure to represent you all as we went and made her not only feel Australian, but also feel like she is loved and she does matter. It was really nice. And the message she gave back in return that we caught on camera, thank you, Aaron the Hitman Dixon, was excellent. Grew up, whole life in Argentina, traveled the world, came here, and she says, Australia is my home. She loves Australia. She realised how lucky she is to be here. It was a great thing. It was a great thing. Really happy. Team, that's pretty big, Lauren. 13. I hope it's not an unlucky number. Good night, Kaz and the team. Stay well and stay safe. Jim Bob. Jay Hayes. Night, Del Boy. It's still quite early for Jay. Good news for you, Mr. Jay. One of the first places that I want to go to when I get the camper van, so to speak, is WA. So I feel obliged to visit you. Maybe go for a romantic walk up a jetty that's nearly a kilometre long with a lukewarm coffee, which would be on me, of course. Night all, JC, and thank you to the thin blue line that protects us. Take state away. I want JC to be the thin blue line of the country. Guys and gals, can I come too, Kaz? You're always welcome, Lauren. You know that. Guys and gals, take it easy. Think about tomorrow. And remember, there's a lot of bullshit on TV, but your family's here. So tick like, enjoy. Thank you for donating your time. Thank you for donating your shekels. And thank you for donating your love amongst each other. This is your Forever channel. I'm Kaz. Your moderators, the ones in blue, are here to help. JC, here in blue. Get it? Thin blue line. Thanks to our Navy guys. Thanks to our veterans. And thank you all for being here on this Wednesday night, the day before payday. For some, take it easy. Mucho respecto. And one last one. Not too cow. Take it easy. Night, Jim Bob.